What's going on, world? Now that we're talking to the universe, not just your neighbors or your state or your country, but anybody that may see this, I want to send a shout out first to Jackson State University. Went to my first HBCU football game in Houston. They played Texas Southern. Uh, Jackson State prevailed. I enjoyed every minute of it. Especially enjoyed the battle of the bands. The bands were off the chart. That fifth quarter, loved it. I even enjoyed watching them watch out. So the whole experience was great. If you haven't been to an HBCU football game, you got to go for the entire experience. So that being said, what I want to address is quote unquote black conservatism, black republicanism, this so-called shifting away from the Democrats, who I have no love for. Don't count me as a Democrat. Came up in a Democratic family and all that, all that history going back. But I'm about to turn 70 years old in January. So as they say, there's a lot of water under the bridge. Um, my thing is that, and you have to have a strategy when you're going to deal with these political parties and politics and government. Um, and I know that a lot of us are upset with the Democratic Party, and I don't want to go into all the history of what they've done and have not done, how they've taken us for granted, and how we pushed them over the top time after time, but they failed to deliver. But part of it is our fault because we've got people involved in those organizations, Black Congressional Caucus and so forth, who really are not playing this game that benefits us. Politics is a kind of a game, but it plays it with real life. I mean, it's real people involved, real issues involved, and but that side of it is a game that controls government to basically for whoever's in power. It ain't even for whoever's in power, but who has the ability to manipulate that structure wins. And so let me go to Georgia first, because I find it hard to believe that you would vote for this white fella, right, who you could say borderline racist or whatever. Um, but why would you vote for him instead of what you will say is a flawed Stacey Abrams? I would rather have a flawed Stacey than to have this guy, than have Kemp. What has Kemp done for the masses of black folks in Georgia? He was even asked a direct question in the debate what he had put forth in the economic policies that he might have, that he was going to say that would directly affect them. You got to remember that Atlanta blew up when Maynard Jackson became mayor, and now we black businesses had access to city contracts, right? That was a whole dynamic. Stacy pointed out that in Georgia, just slightly over 1% of state contracts is going to black vendors. That means the governor controls that money. So, did you even ask him what he was going to do? No. Do you have a strategy for dealing with him now that you champion the fact that we went out, some of us, black folk, Negroes, voted for this guy, and proud now that we've dissed the Democratic Party? Which, and I get it. But do you have a strategy for dealing with them? What's your agenda? Do you understand how the game is played? The game is not played at the ballot box. The game is played at the whoever gets elected. The game is played by who's actually giving money to candidates. The game is played by the lobbyists. The game is played by who can influence peddle the most effectively. And we, as the dark-skinned people in this country, and I really should say only blacks, because the Mexicans right now, y'all don't play with us, right? Y'all, you don't understand. I don't know if y'all just trying to be, more on the white side or what. The man came down the steps, Trump, denigrating your folk. And you're going to line up with them? The Republicans are some of the slickest folks around. I mean, they know how to do this thing. They make, well, let me not get to that first. But do you have in your pocket any kind of, what's your method? I want to know now how you're going to get them to address your issues. Or your issue just strictly line with whatever it is that they want. Uh-huh. I was watching this guy, Guinness, the Prince, Amir, or whatever, where he has all the people, hidden people coming on talking on him, show their face. And he's talking about the whole why we have not voted for the Democrats and then championed voting for the Republicans. But where's the policy? Where is the strategy, Dinus? Your strategy should be written before you go out to vote for the candidates. And now that you have, do you have access to the office? Do you have access to who do you have someone a voice that can reach out? Do you have someone that they respect? Do you have access? Do you have access? Access to the power. Huh? Come on, man. Spell it out. Yeah, y'all happy that, Stacey Abrams lost. But, you're going to go after her over abortion, but you're not going to go after him over fixing the voting system so to make sure they stay in power, on not giving you any contracts, right? Holding on to the Medicare money, not spending the billions, watching your medical facility close up, and you not holding him. What are you holding him feet to the fire for? Come on, spell it out. Tell me. What's your strategy? What's your plan? I mean, they got to be sitting around a table laughing at you. Foolish Negroes. Fell for it again. Okay, anyway. Secondly, I just don't understand white folk constantly bamboozled over and over again by your own folks. These politicians don't care about you. These folks at the top don't care about you. They are so successful at giving you a crumb, making you think that you're getting a bite or even a slice of the cake, but you always walk away with crumbs. Be honest. This is the country you want, or you just want whiteness to still rule? I'm telling you, unless we understand that we're all in this thing together, unless it works for everybody, right? And y'all ran on 2 or 3 slogans. The economy, right? Which obviously I don't think you can't bet the economy because who controls it? The president doesn't. Then crime. Yeah, crime may be up, so forth, whatever, but you ain't solved it. It goes up and down, and it has whatever. Having a police state is not the answer. The answer is getting down there and solving the problems at the grassroots level. And it's going to take years to turn it around. Why? Because you got to go in there and take the minds of 6, 7, and 8-year-olds and not let them to be developed along those to where they feel like they're hopeless. So come on, folks. That's not the answer, right? The border. What's going to change? Abbott sends the National Guard down there. They ain't doing nothing down there standing around complaining that they paid, they're getting jacked up. That's not the answer. You got a border crisis because for 100 years the United States has meddled in South American elections, their countries, their leaders. They've had people down there going in and out, meddling. Corporations have been down there investing, but they want to make sure their investments are protected. So the United States government is the de facto police for corporate America. And you wonder why after 50, 60, 70 years of destabilization, people now are running up here. That's the reason. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong. Help me out. Educate me. Educate me. Tell me I'm wrong. And this is Veterans Day. So we're celebrating veterans, but are we celebrating them veterans that MacArthur ran out of Washington, D.C. when they were trying to get paid back in the 1920s? Are you celebrating them veterans? Huh? Yeah. My man, Smedley Butler told on y'all, but you buried him. See, you're only a hero as long as you good for to promote what I want. Yeah. Your heroism stops at the point where you begin to come against what we want as a corporate society, as a fascist corporate structure. Then it's over with. Then you can take your medals and everything else and get lost. Or we will write you out. We will blot you out of history, no matter if you were right or what. You're gone, dude. Yeah, go get Smedley Butler's book. He writes on capitalism, how the United States military has been the arm of world dominance used by corporations, going back to the late 1800s, 1900s, the 1900s. Anyway, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Black Wall Street. Where do we go from here? You see, the reality is that for us, if we have tried to climb out of this pit that y'all put us in when we came over here, and you subjugated us to be prison workers, convicts to your farms, and after we were freed and we got out of the situation, every time we built something for ourselves, you destroyed it, and you continue to do that. That's your long-term strategy. And you only let people come into the game who you know you can control. And once you can't control them, or if you see there may be a potential, we destroy them early. So, here we go. All over again. Do you have a strategy to deal with either party? You don't lobby, you don't have money, you don't give money to candidates. Can you get a meeting? And I hope y'all show some kind of sense and cancel Donald Trump. This guy, this is the height of idiocy for the folks that are still backing this guy. That's what's wrong with America. You gullible American citizenry keep falling for the same okie doke. Now you have the Supreme Court just out and out shows who they are. Man, I tell you, I think it's over for this country. I think it's over. And until all dark-skinned people around the world wake up and realize that the game has been rigged and stacked in the favor of this country, and not even the United States, it's the people who want to control it or maintain their position of power and continue to hold the wealth. And look at all the new wealth that got wiped out. All the new players got wiped out. I'm telling you, I don't care if you got some money. They can take your money anytime. Bitcoin. Yeah, Ethereum. All that money y'all put in all that stuff. And the sage from Omaha kept telling y'all they worth 25 cents. We wouldn't buy $25 worth of it. They can take your money anytime. And let me end with this. Back to blue. Police reform. I watched a video the other day of a guy who got stopped on the freeway for going 60 and a 70. Unless he was driving a rental car. Of course, the guy knew that because he ran his plates before he stopped him. So this is their strategy to what? Stop drug. It's just a drug interdiction policy going on steroids. And the guy was an immigrant from Russia, been there maybe 20, 30 years. A good citizen, solid. White man. And he was stopped because he was going 60 and a 70. Oh, you in Texas. Why are you going so slow? Because Texans drive fast. So I had to stop you because you was driving erratic. You was putting your foot on your brakes. I guess I got to give me one of these cameras, man, because these guys will say anything. Everybody in America, get you a camera in your car. So, and the cop wanted to search his car and eventually did. But if you watch the video, it was so ridiculous. This is white folks. Come on now, law and order. This is what you want. Civil forfeiture laws on steroids. Most of the people who they stop are innocent. Yeah, you might catch a few people here and there, but come on, your whole drug policy has failed since it was almost at the beginning. You've been better off just saying, okay, get everyone a drug. If we had put more money into help after you take the drugs than putting all this money out there trying to stop you from getting the drugs, we'd be much further along. So you really want to do something? Law and order folk? Stop civil forfeiture, where you just take somebody's money and make them prove that they haven't done something illegal. Now, this is what y'all want. Y'all want law and order. You want the cops, some guy down here in Bell County somewhere running for office, he says his final message for voters was, I always back the blue. That means when they're wrong, nobody's perfect. So you back the blue even when they're wrong. Matter of fact, before they do anything wrong, you say, I'm going to back you regardless. Therefore, I'm going to go out there and do anything I want because, hey, they back me regardless. And so what happened when the case got to court with the judge? He teared it up. Get out of here with that stuff. He should have, where no monitoring? The judge should pick up the phone and call the sheriff's office and say, look, you get this knucklehead off the street, harassing citizens of the United States of America. Like the Funkadelic said, America eats its own. They don't care. Michael Jackson, they don't care about us. And you think they do. You just been bamboozled by some slick, what they call him? Think of another song that Michael Jackson did. Smooth criminals. These guys are gangsters. And that's what Smedley calls his book. Gangster capitalism. Gangster capitalism. Anyway, I didn't really plan on going this long. What I wanted to address was these new Negroes, these new black folks that run around there championing republicanism, who call themselves conservatives, which, okay, I get the whole conservative thing. But you ain't told us how you plan to hold them accountable. Now, you ain't said not one thing. Which is telling me that you don't understand how this game is played. Barack, please tell us how the game is really played. Dude, you had to know now because you failed. You failed at playing the game. Hope. The audacity of hope. You put your finger on it. It is. People lose hope. And in our community, that's what happened. A lot of these kids have lost. They have no hope. But you knew it was a game, or didn't you? Or you that naive? Were you that naive? Come on, America. In the end, my message is wake up. We in this thing, all of us in this thing together. Black folks do not want to bury you if we take over. Not like y'all keep wanting to do. We're not like that. Our spirits are not like that. That's not who we are. Together we can change this thing, but the way it's going now, we're not. Not if you're so inclined to vote somebody for a white person or a Herschel Walker because he's a conservative, a Republican, or whatever, or a flunky. I was going to end, but let me end with this, because Warnock, you're just not a politician, dude. You don't know how to fight this better. You don't know how to fight them guys. You're too slow. You're smart, but you ain't witty. Herschel made a statement during one of the debates, which is not a debate. We don't debate politics in America. We don't debate. Let me make a note and come back to that debate. So Herschel said that Warnock votes 100%. I'm just making a note. Votes 100% with Biden. Okay. So anybody that votes 100% with anybody, in Herschel's mind, in Herschel's world, you or some kind of flunky or whatever, or they controlling you. You don't think for yourself. Here's what we don't do in America. We don't research what people say. I went and looked up to see how many Republicans had voted 100% with Trump. There were about 5 or 6 that had voted absolutely 100%. Or really with McConnell. McConnell runs the Senate. Herschel, you're going to go against one of the slickest politicians of all time. McConnell from Kentucky. Last state in the union in most categories. You going to go against him? You going to challenge Senator McConnell? You're not going to vote the way they want you to vote? You don't even understand what pressure is in that arena. Wow. This is the height of hypocrisy. When you take an educated, intelligent black man and put him up against a Herschel Walker tape. And you white folks down in Georgia are telling us that we'd rather have him than him. We'd rather have Herschel with all his junk, lying. You don't have the biggest minority company. You had some little bitty chicken farm someplace. You lying, man. You a lying. I was going to say you're a lying dog, but I don't want to call people names. Come on, white folk, wake up. Stop putting these guys in office. Come on, we need to build a coalition of people who want what's right. Somebody had written the other day in a post that said that what American government is about justice. Let's just get justice for everybody. But you know what? For you evangelical Christian, Catholics, everybody else who read the Bible, it's just going to get worse anyway, right? There's no hope. Solomon said, you know what? Just get your job, eat your food, drink your little wine, and be merry. Because if it ain't going to change, then, just go on about your way and do your thing. Eat, drink, and be merry. Someday, I'm hoping that what goes around comes around. When that day will be, I don't know. But if you really want change, why don't you really try loving your neighbor instead of cursing them? Love your neighbor instead of hating them. Selfish, crybaby Americans only want what they want that's good for them. To hell with my neighbor. Matter of fact, anyway, I was going to say something about the debate, which is no debates, but y'all know that ain't. Why we continue to believe in the construct of the falsehood of America is beyond me. Yeah, its structure is was a great the idea, whatever. But even the founding father said, y'all, I'm gonna give you something if you can keep it. But what they said was they thought we would have a constitutional convention every 10, 20 years. But you're afraid to have a constitutional convention because this country will go to civil war because some stuff y'all don't want change. That would be really interesting because then you really see the great maneuvering apparatuses put into place to keep the people in power that are there right now. Term limits. Oh, America, America. You will pay the price eventually. I mean, if there's justice at all. But anyway, my whole subject was about these new Negro, black, African-American, conservative, quote unquote, nothing wrong being a conservative, but Republicans. And giddy about Republicans being elected. This one brother, I can't think of his name, he's got a little something on YouTube, and he's all for the lady out there in Arizona, Lake is her name, whatever, who's full of it, lying like a dog about all kind of stuff. And the bad thing about it is, she's very smart, intelligent, decent-looking woman. I thought she could have won without doing all this. You could have been great. No, but you went down into the cesspool of Trumpism. And hung your hat on that. But the biggest part is, why can't the people of Arizona see through that nonsense? Let me get off here. Once again, I gotta speak. Twitter handle. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm wrong, challenge me. Okay, I could be. Tell me what's gonna change. Tell me what's going to change. Tell me what your strategy is. What's your plan? Who's going to the White House or the State House? I'm listening. Until then, signing off because I don't want this to be long. Most of y'all attention span ain't that long no way. Probably want to get past 4 or 5 minutes of it. Because when you start hearing the truth, you can't stand it. And you start standing on the lies that you've inherited or that you believe all your life. And you know what? The problem with most folk is they can't stand to be wrong. But the real part of it is that they are so ashamed that they believed a lie for so long, they don't want to admit it. That they've been bamboozled so long, they don't want to admit it. So rather than try to face the truth, they ignore and won't even research or analyze so that they continually keep their frame of mind intact. Because I can't let anything in. I can't let anything crack the door of what I believed in. Because then I'll be so embarrassed that I've been wrong all this time. Nothing wrong being wrong. Just turn when you hear the truth. Stop doing that. When you hear the truth, just stop. Turn around. Leave that alone. Stop believing it. Go in a different direction. Open your mind, they say, and your exterior will follow. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just open up the door, and I get it myself. And that's what we've been doing all along. But y'all keep challenging us and taking away every gain that we get. How many Black Wall Streets would there have been across the United States? But you folks at the bottom, you poor, unfortunate white folk, that they leave you behind. They don't include you, but they'll use you, and you fall for it every time. But I'm here to try to tell you, it can be a new day if you decide to think a different way. Change your mind. It's one of the hardest things to do. There was I think, was it Robert Maxwell? I can't think of his name, first name. Put out a book called Thinking for a Change. That's the title, Thinking for a Change. It's like thinking for a change, like, yeah, I want you to do this different. But then thinking produces a change. Because if you actually apply the art of thinking and intelligence, you're going to change something. Maybe I have to bring that book out and show it. Can I see it? While I'm looking at my library. Let me show my library a little bit. This ain't even all of it. Let me show my library. I'm still buying books. I got books in back of me. Yeah. We don't read in America. We just listen to propaganda. We just listen to propaganda. That's what we find more exciting. I ought to do like jump over and grab that book. That was a great book. Oh, I see it. Let me grab it. I gotta grab it. John C. Maxwell. This is a great little book right here. John C. Maxwell. Thinking for a Change. And one of the quotes in here is by Henry Ford. And Henry Ford says in this book, thinking is difficult or hard. Thinking is hard. That's why few people do it. Thinking is hard work. That's why few people do it. Out of 320 million plus Americans, how many of them think on a daily basis? How many? Apparently not many, because they keep doing the same thing over and over again. They haven't learned nothing. Anyway, I said I was going to stop. I'm going on too much. I can go on and on. Anyway, I got to speak. That's me. Anyway, you can challenge me if you want to, but challenge me with facts. Challenge me with study. Challenge me with analytics, and challenge me with research. Challenge me with analysis, as Dr. Wilma Leon says. Challenge me with the analysis. Support your view with facts and information. Yeah. And I'll take a look at it. Okay. So anyway, hey, I'm out of here. Thank you for listening. If you listened all the way to the end, maybe I'll have more content. I had planned on doing content, but I'm finally stirred to say something and put something out there, and it's time. All right. Later.